She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
This is when the wheels fall off.
You're not.
Jasmine Crockett strode into the spotlight, believing that her attitude and eyeliner would silence everyone. However, Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld arrived like a wrecking team, full of facts, jokes, and no tolerance. Megyn broke down her reasoning like a horrible courtroom play after Gutfeld torched her so badly that the fire department ought to have been summoned. What transpired? Let's assume Jasmine got checkmated on live television for being sassy during a chess match.
That's what she does. She puts out this video of her acting in a certain way, and that's how she fundraises.
We actually did a bit of a deep dive on her after my old colleague from Fox News, Todd Starnes, posted something on X not long ago, Walter. He posted the following. Jasmine Crockett wants you to think she's from the hood, that she grew up on the streets. The exact opposite is true. She attended an exclusive day school where tuition is nearly $35,000 a year. She also attended Rhodes College, a private school where tuition is nearly $55,000 a year. She's cosplaying a gangsta. So we look at her background. She was born in St. Louis. She's 43. Her dad was a Baptist pastor and a teacher. Her mother worked in a post office. She graduated from Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School.
Jasmine Crockett entered the political sphere as if she had just landed from a Bravo reality show spin-off that no one had requested. She thought C-SPAN was the Bad Girls Club Congressional Edition, somewhere between a courtroom and a confessional booth. And let's face it, she would already be the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, and possibly even the Secretary of SAS if her legislative skills consisted solely of TikTok outbursts and Twitter clapbacks. Regretfully for Jasmine, genuine politics is more than just mastering the side-eye and striking a dramatic pose during committee hearings.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news and for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
The fact that you're around talking about life was better under Jim Crow? Is this you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you're a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you?
That's not very woke.
Enter Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld now. Two media celebrities who are successful without the use of emojis or mood lighting. They were not there to play. To roast. They came. And not by the fire sense and the adorable marshmallow. It's more like Jasmine Crockett unintentionally appeared at a Shark Tank job interview looking like a competitor from the filibuster episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. There was no argument. It was a verbal demolition derby without any podiums, thank you notes, or spinning red buzzers. Additionally, Jasmine attended a monster truck rally with a tricycle.
And cluelessness. Jasmine Crockett is a rising star amongst the far-left progressives in this country. She's a representative from Houston, Texas, of all places, which makes no sense because she seems to be far too left Houston, but apparently not because they elected her. It must be like, Orange County in California being like the one outlier in another one uniformly covered, state, like all red with the one blue. All blue with the one red. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett got up at a Los Angeles dinner this Saturday, and it was hosted by, this is perfect.
Let's be honest. With the vigor of a sardonic raccoon who has studied every section of the Constitution, Greg Gutfeld has turned sarcasm into a political weapon. As the principal called to supervise a food fight in the cafeteria, Megyn Kelly intervened. Unaware that the cafeteria camera was recording in 4K, Jasmine was the child who threw mashed potatoes.
That was 3 years ago. The ones of her just sounding like a normal person talking. 3 years, not like that was 20 years, but she moved to Mississippi for all that time. She was 3 years ago. She sounded like a totally normal person. It's only now she's got her accent and she's going to kick everybody's ass.
It's really emotional. The foundation of Crockett's political brand is aesthetic fury. She is the equivalent of adding glitter to a lawsuit in Congress. Yes, it is noisy. Even though it's sparkling, below all that glitz lies a huge nothing burger with extra snark on the side. She didn't perform legislative discourse. Cosplay was involved. Somewhere between being able to finish my sentence and reclaiming my time. She appeared to have forgotten that being a leader involves more than simply dramatic pauses and glaze fit for a viral video. Greg didn't even have to speak louder. Crockett's entire argument would have collapsed like a cheap suit from a campaign donor's bargain bin with only a few dreary observations.
Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices.
Her policy talking points were like stale coupons to him. Invalid, unrelated, and unredeemable in any meaningful discussion. Greg hardly blinked each time Crockett blew up to deliver what she likely believed to be a MIC drop. That isn't a lack of interest. When someone is so unimpressed that they could solve a Sudoku puzzle in the middle of a tirade and still have time to make fun of you before your sentence is finished, that's how it appears. When Megyn Kelly enters a room, she has the ability to make people sit up straighter without them even noticing. Megyn arrived equipped with information, timelines, receipts, and the capacity to dissect without raising an eyebrow, while Jasmine was busy trying out for a congressional production of Mean Girls.
So this is funny. Jasmine Crockett sits on the Judiciary Committee, and about a month, Walter?
Oh,
I testified.
Yes,
before
we saw
Judiciary
this.
Committee. And the hearings, the full committee hearings are quite long. You can be there for over hours. So, and they let the most juniors ask questions last. So I had to sit for quite a long time. And then at the very end, Jasmine Crockett, who I had never heard before, suddenly started screaming at me and Michael Schellenberger. And when you're a witness in Congress, you have to pay attention to what everybody says, because you never know when you're going to be asked an actual question and allowed to speak. But I could not understand what she was saying. She was moving from one thing to another, and she was doing all that switching stuff with the y'alls and y'all eyeing on this.
It was like witnessing a resentful IRS auditor. She destroyed Jasmine's political reputation. Ruthless, methodical, and completely fulfilling. No one had to wait their time since, once more, this was not a debate. In biology class, Kelly analyzed Crockett's legislative record like a frog. There wasn't much to analyze. Spoiler alert. Jasmine's contribution to American governance reads like a botched group project in which she pretended to be the team leader after showing up only to add emoticons to the PowerPoint. Meanwhile, Gutfeld brought attention to the unsettling reality. Crockett is not involved in policy. She performs. The appearance of resistance is the foundation of her entire brand. Instagram captions, eye rolls, and finger snaps. She is not inherently stupid. She is intellectually dishonest, particularly when the cameras are rolling and there's a lot of hashtag potential. There is no need for a debate with Crockett.
This woman, I've had about enough of her. She wants to be like a member of the squad. She thinks of herself like an AOC. She talks like, she's from the hood. Meanwhile, she grew up in a nice family. She didn't talk like this 3 years. 3 years ago, she sounded like you and I sound in this conversation. Like, I'm really excited to be going to Congress. I can't wait to get started on my new jobs. Like, we need to smack him in the head.
We know that we work for the American people. And what we not gonna do is stand around with ain't this that they trying to pull right now.
Like, what do you, we have videotape. Why are you talking like, no one believes this bullshit? And now she's graduated to acting like a thug. Congratulations, your term in the U.S. Congress is going really well.
That was a great impression.
She needs a public relations manager and perhaps a mentor in legislation who can explain that Congress isn't a dress-coded improv comedy club. Jasmine attempted to create a soundbite about standing up for the people at one point, which was too evident. Furthermore, Gutfeld failed to provide a counter to elevate it. He simply stopped, grinned, and let the silence to reveal the absurdity like a spotlight on an unacting mime. That's how you can completely destroy someone without uttering a single word. Megyn didn't even bat an eyelid. Only someone who has endured 5 presidential election cycles and more media drama than a real housewife going through her 6th divorce can have that kind of unwavering composure.
car with people of color?
I do.
Yeah.
My boxcar does not know race, does not know gender. It welcomes space.
That is so
where only
beautiful.
deodorant is not welcome. I like this Jasmine Crockett lady, right?
It's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah.
It's
Crockett is the whitest Latin you could ever have. Yeah. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Sonny Croc, Miami Vice.
Yes.
It's like the whole thing is, because I've seen her, she's very well spoken, and then she gets on certain programs and lets it. So maybe this whole thing is like a Netflix documentary, like a new spin on Dr. Jekyll and.
Fans of Crockett could describe her as brazen. Indeed, shouting at a drive-through speaker is also audacious. It's not always right to be loud. Virtue is not the same as volume. Additionally, Greg and Megyn were serving the kind of surgical takedown that befits a political mastermind, while Jasmine Crockett was busy transforming every appearance into a tantrum worthy of a gift. How to look intelligent without looking foolish in public. At a New Year's Eve celebration, she tossed meaningless keywords like confetti in the hopes that one might stick. It wasn't Times Square, though. A political roast took place. The tacky was Crockett.
He is going to be the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
You are going to be so glad he popped up
around
on the scene.
That's going to make up for the White Correspondents' Dinner. We're going to get a segment a day.
Her only line of defense appeared to be rolling her eyes so violently that she may sprain an optic nerve. Megyn, meanwhile, calmly referenced real bills, voting records, and, well, reality, all of which Crockett had obviously neglected since her last widely shared tweet. It was far from it. Crockett had an aura. Kelly and Gutfeld arrived with footnotes. The discrepancy between Crockett's perception of herself and her real influence has a poetic quality. Although she is barely functioning above Twitter thread energy, she believes she is preaching political sermons from Mount Olympus. You would think that Jasmine Crockett would take a step back and reevaluate after that fiery takedown. She would perhaps open a civics textbook or, dare we say it, read a bill or two. However, she doubled down, acting as though she had just learnt that cards aren't really admissible in court and still chose to play them in Congress. Draw full, skip, and reverse. Greg and Megyn weren't playing games, though, this time. Jasmine's reality check bounced harder than she had promised during her news conference.
If you're going to talk about black history, at least know it. At least know it, okay? But it goes back to, that was 45 seconds of some of the, like, Kamala, you good right now. That was some of the dumbest I ever heard in my life. Here's the thing. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. They never have a solution. Just listen to your dumbass talk. You want to talk about agriculture? Why don't you fix the lottery? Why don't you make it easier for people who want to come into this country to work in agriculture? And
let's discuss the outcomes. Politicians are meant to provide that. The brutally apparent was pointed out by Gutfeld, the king of dry annihilation. It appears that someone Googled 3 easy steps to sound woke and stopped reading at step 1 of Jasmine Crockett's resume. No significant legislation or historic projects, just more drama and noise cloaked in a misguided sense of self-importance. Getting retweeted by someone with a blue tick mark and a ring light is Crockett's concept of bringing about change. Megyn Kelly, on the other hand, sliced through the performance like a chainsaw through a sculpture of butter. At its core, Crockett's political career is more about establishing Jasmine Crockett as a brand than it is about assisting others. Furthermore, that cannot be considered public service. You refer to that as a grandiose public relations campaign. Have you ever witnessed someone attempt to evade responsibility by giving a TED lecture about emotions? Jasmine is that. It is not policy to say, I feel attacked. It gets likes, shares, and just enough fury to keep the camera going, which is, let's face it, all she's wanting. I feel disrespected doesn't develop infrastructure. One particularly surgical observation was made by Greg Gutfeld. Calling Crockett's political involvement home cooking is akin to putting a frozen dinner in the microwave. It's all noise, no taste, and it doesn't satisfy you. She puts together cliches like IKEA furniture, which is quick, inexpensive, and prone to collapsing under pressure. She uses volume as her entire tactic. Depth, but not in content. If in doubt, shout. Make crazy gestures when confronted. When incorrect, attribute the issue to the closest oxygen molecule. Despite this, She somehow believes she is Rosa Parks wearing a ring light. Warning: Rosa Parks did not record her activism in portrait or